country. And
That penalty note for the ball like that.
yeah, yeah, that was. You're right.
So I kind of,
That's a good one.
but the, Holland, France game, that they're playing
Who? No, France and Germany.
that? France, Germany.
Oh, that will be a good one.
Yeah, Holland's got the quote the least competitive opponent, Costa Rica.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Costa Rica's been playing hard. They made it up to this point. I mean,
We look at like Vegas odds, so they have the most.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. At this point, it's really a slugfest. I mean, who can endure? I mean, because you think about it's if you go to the final game, that's 7 games within a pretty short time for soccer players to recover.
Well, especially down there.
Yeah.
Rainforest.
Oh, no
That's
kidding.
so tough.
I'm looking
Can't
at
even imagine.
Brazil, because they're playing in Brazil, and that, I don't know if you guys saw the Brazil show again, but that's the best soccer. That's the best
Yeah,
ball.
Brazil, yeah. Well, them and Argentina's playing.
Hi, Tammy. How are you?
Argentina's playing.
Good.
Oh, okay.
I still think it's bizarre that Qatar is where, what, 2 World Cups from now? Something? Oh, sure.
Sure, probably maybe in between the 2 tables.
Not next time, find that.
Yeah.
The second 8 years. they got. Yeah, right now,
Pretty good, I think.
I don't see how they're gonna do. I don't see how there's any chance they're gonna be sitting right there tonight, so.
Everyone
Like,
do that.
there's no like work.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Nice article in the paper tonight. Did you see it?
I didn't. I just heard about it.
Yeah,
I had to pay that guy $200 for that.
that's cheap.
Oh, that's amazing.
Give me excuse to buy the paper.
Yeah, right.
Now you're here. It didn't work. They're stuck, yeah. That's why so many people are so skeptical of FIFA about how they awarded Qatar the World Cup. It's like so.
Yeah, it's like the desert in Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think it's that nice. I mean, it's horrible. They've got like 0. I don't know how they're gonna build anything.
Well, our gas.
Stadiums will probably be easy. I don't know how they're gonna do it for people coming to the country.
Well, the gas prices will be going up for a while to pay for the stadiums.
That's true.
Yeah. American cars will be paying for the stadiums.
I think they paid for the bribe to get
Yeah.
the award.
Sound like the bribes were pretty low. A couple $1 million or something,
Yeah,
you
look at the
know?
whole compared to the oil-rich,
So what is it really? Is it like a special drawing?
Oh, it's like the Olympics. They did it, and they go through a whole process to report it. And the big question everybody is at is like, how does that country get it? And they literally have nothing. No infrastructure for it. They don't have the stadiums for it. They don't have, I don't know how they're gonna have the influx of people for it. That's where it's at.
They're going to have to all be indoor stadiums, air conditioning,
That's still-
with humidifiers.
I mean, as bad as Brazil would be, that's gotta be a good time to do it. There's been so much good soccer, though. What you would expect.
Yeah.
Team in the world.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Adam, we're going to get started.
Well, yeah, it is. It was quite ready. You still go. Well, now,
Hey, how you doing, Adam?
afternoon.
You ready, Emily? Hey, Adam, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. How do you do?
Good. Are you ready?
I brought my calculator.
Excellente. All right. All the commissioners ready?
Yes. Yes.
All right. This meeting of the Livingston City Commission is called to order. Roll call, please.
Chairman Bennett,
Present?
Commissioner Hoagland,
Here.
Commissioner Reddington,
Here.
Commissioner Stern,
Here.
Commissioner Friedman,
Here. Thank you very much. We'll begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's so hard to get through here. Thanks. All right, I've had a request to pull consent item E for a brief explanation. So can I get a motion from the commission for approval of consent items A, B, C, D, F, and G? Unless anyone else wants to pull any of the consent items.
So moved.
So moved. All right. Is there a second?
Right here.
Okay. Motion by Friedman, second by Stern. Roll call.
Chairman Bennett,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoagland,
Yes.
Commissioner Reddington,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern,
4.
Commissioner Friedman,
4. Motion passes. Consent item E. You said that Sandy needed to, is she here or are you going to explain it for
I'll
her?
explain based on what she told me. So I just wanted to be sure that you understood what you were approving. It's not that you're approving the street closure, but rather waiving of the fee. This fee is for a full shutdown of the park, similar to what we do for Summerfest. It's estimated to cost about $650, as opposed to the normal street closure permit of $100. And I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you very much. So do I have a motion from the commission on consent item E?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve a consent item E.
Okay, motion by Stern,
I'll second.
second by Hoagland. Is there any discussion or comments? No? Okay, roll call.
Chairman Bennett,
Yes.
Chairman Hoagland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoagland,
Yes.
Commissioner Reddington,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern,
4.
Commissioner Friedman,
4. Motion passes. There are no proclamations tonight, and we have 2 scheduled public comments. Scheduled public comment A, an update on local economic development activities. Katie Weaver. Hi, Katie. Doing well. Got something for us?
Thank you for the time to come speak with you again. I will keep it pretty short this evening. I just want to touch on a couple of topics. The first thing I just handed out to you, you've been hearing about this for quite a while now. This is the Leadership 49, the Community Leadership Program. I have a planning team of 9 people. We've been working since late January, and the applications are going to be, well, they're essentially open now. We haven't really put out the word, but we're going to be doing that this week. We have set to have an article go into the paper and start doing some PR on this program next week. So I just wanted to give that to you, a little overview of the program. There's still a few details to get figured out as if you look at the schedule for the program. But we are ready to roll, and we'll have a deadline of August 4th for that. We're hoping to get 15 to 20 people. It's the first year. We understand that we're going to probably have a lot of learning to go through as we launch this program. So If you know of anyone that would be great for it, if you are interested in doing it yourself, I think that would be great visibility if a city commissioner was interested in it. But please spread the word to anyone you know, or if there's anyone in particular on the city staff that you've noticed that might stand out, we would really welcome that representation in the program. The website is another project I've been talking about for a while. It's a website and a marketing style guide. So we're essentially have been opened an RFP, which recently closed, and the contract is now in the process of getting signatures. We chose a contractor called Classic Ink out of Bozeman was the top proposal in that process, and we will hopefully be having our initial meeting with them, shooting for a timeline to have the marketing style guide come back done by the 1st of August, and fingers crossed, barring any major hurdles, a launch of the website in early September. Then lastly, a program that I have recently become a co-coordinator of is the BEAR program. It's Business Expansion and Retention. This is a program under the Montana Department of Commerce. They have them across the state, primarily in the larger population centers, kind of different regions form depending on what really makes sense, depending on the economy and the connections within the smaller economies. So Bozeman has its own BEAR team. We also have our own BEAR team here. That has been run out of the Livingston Job Service. If you are aware, I think they've been cut back. Gosh, I think at one time they had 7 full-time employees, and right now they're at 3. So they have a lot going on over there, and they're just really pulling out all stops to continue to deliver the services. And this is one program that really makes a lot of sense. It's part of what my job description reads, as was the contract put together between the city and the county and MSU. So I'm working really hard with Megan Lannon at the Job Service to breathe some life back into this program. We've had 3 interviews in the last month and a half. We're building up the team. The BEAR program, it's essentially to work with existing businesses, either businesses who are struggling for good or bad reasons, perhaps, businesses who are maybe experiencing some growth and aren't necessarily equipped to handle that growth, or people who are struggling, people just with any questions, but it's existing businesses. It can also be startup businesses, folks who are already in business but at the very beginning. And on that team, the process goes, we go out and do about an hour-and-a-half interview, and we go over everything you could think about, almost everything you could think about as far as their business. And we're just really looking for areas where they're feeling some pressure or having some challenge. We bring that interview back to the assessment team, and this is it's a public-private nonprofit partnership. So we have private consultants that sit on that assessment team as well, and we just brainstorm, we think about resources we can plug them into, and then we have a group of consultants who have essentially offered up their services. They work with businesses up to 2 hours, free of charge. So it's not a real in-depth business consulting relationship. It's to go in, kind of do some assessment, hopefully point them in the right direction, give them a little push, and if there's deeper needs beyond just those couple hours, and it can vary. Some of our folks are very generous and really just community oriented, and they'll end up working 4 or 5 hours. But at that point, they can figure out if they want to go into a formal relationship with that consultant if there's deeper challenges than the couple hours. So that's an effort I'm really putting a lot of time into. We are a small team. We're looking to grow it. We have accountant, an attorney. We have folks with financing experience, sales, marketing, social media. There's some holes. We're looking to fill those. So I would also put that call out to you if you know of anyone who's looking for an opportunity to get involved kind of in this capacity in supporting the business community. We're always looking for people to join the team, or at least in the consulting capacity. And it's also can be some good visibility for their business as well, because they kind of, both of them get a chance to fill each other out, and if they like the relationship, they can perhaps take it farther. So it's supporting those consultants as well as the local businesses, which they're all local businesses. So with that, I just wanted to kind of touch on those three things. I'm really happy to answer any questions on those or anything else you guys have.
That's great, Katie. Thank you very much. Do you, is your number on here, how people can get a hold of you?
Yeah, under the how to apply, at the very bottom it goes
Okay,
through.
great. Yeah.
There's email and telephone number. And we'll be doing a pretty big email blast. We have, like I said, we have a big planning team, and hopefully those folks will be accessing all their networks. And then we'll be putting something in the community journal and the enterprise, probably, hopefully working like through the Facebook social network as well to get it out with the city and the county.
Is there any other commissioners who have any questions for Katie or comments?
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let me off
Work.
easy.
Yeah.
Going into the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. Enjoy your 4th of July.
Absolutely.
How do you find that? Do you feel like you're getting your office is getting better, well known throughout the community? Little by little, it's been growing, and people have been more and more accessing the services.
Yeah, I'm actually at a very interesting point. As you know, when I first came on, I really like to work a lot. And so at first it was kind of slow. You know, it took a lot of time to get the word out. I'm actually at a point where I'm really stepping back and doing some strategizing and prioritizing because more work than I am capable of doing is coming across my desk. And so that is really what I see happening over the next couple of months. So yeah, I think the word has gotten out through a variety of sources, and a lot of it's come from just, you know, building those partnerships and really just being there and saying, hey, I'm open, call me. So, and people have responded to that quite well.
Great. Great. Well, great job. Thank you very, very much for coming to the commission tonight and give us an update.
Absolutely.
Let us
Thank you
know
for
this.
your time.
Okay, thanks a lot. See you.
Hey, Katie, could you state the line possibly, because you'll see they dovetail.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Schedule comment B, Park County Happiness Project. Tammy.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Thanks for coming.
I'm Tammy Kevwich. I was told I would have oh, you got it right there. Okay, cool. Well, so it's actually the Happy Montana Project, and
Do you need the camera on?
it's on already.
Is it?
I've
Okay.
been rolling through the whole meeting. So, and that was, you are going to see this stuff, how this dovetails. So I'll just get right on it. And that's that I wear a lot of hats in the community. And besides having been a welfare mother for the last 4 years and in a very intensive mental health recovery program at the same time. And I, for 5 years, have been the secretary for the Park County Local Advisory Council for Mental Health, and I also have served as Park County's representative in Helena for 3 of those years. And our mission has been to identify the problems, within the mental health system, as well as identifying solutions. So, I've had more than one really serious mental illnesses that I've been recovering from with state-of-the-art breakthrough technologies in mental health right here in our own community that most people don't even know about. So one of the gaps in service that we've been able to identify is that the public needs to become aware of the solutions that we have. Another one is that we have to overcome a very deadly stigma that tells people not to get help for their mental health. They get help if they've got cancer, and they get help for lots of other reasons, but there's a stigma. People think that it means you're crazy, or it thinks, you know, you're going to be identified with a subclass of human beings. So I'm a media specialist, and I have put together, I've been working as a volunteer with the Chamber of Commerce, putting together media for their homepage, which is the official Livingston, Montana video, the Livingston, Montana magazine, and the Livingston's Got Talent magazine. So the Livingston, Montana magazine, I included all about our mental health system in that magazine. And now, I have it down there. Back in 2010, I produced our first Park County Mental Health Guide, and immediately upon having published it, I realized that it was missing the word happiness, and that if it had the word happiness, people would be a lot more likely to pick it up. And I went and visited Governor Schweitzer's Office of Economic Development, and I shared with them about promoting Montana as a state of freedom, prosperity, and happiness, because I also have an economic development strategy, and it all ties together. And in the course of putting together, if you'll scroll down a little bit for me, whoever has the, okay, right there, that mental health and happiness resource guide, this says Montanans creating state of happiness. We got about we got a couple $1,000s within our goal of producing that 100+ page publication for Park and Gallatin County, and I've done this as a volunteer for free for 9 months, and I ran out of my own personal survival money along the way. I had to myself get some serious counseling in the process. So we have an incredible system, and I didn't even have to lose a day of work, even though I was going through a mental health crisis. That's how good our system is. So I have an online magazine already put together that if you I'm not going to ask you to do that right now because of time. If you click on that, you will see that there is this plethora of amazing information. If you click on that Kickstart right there, before you do, go ahead and click on it. And I want to tell you something that I've studied with the Global Entrepreneurship Institute, the best social media specialists in the world, and crowdfunding is something that used to be illegal. Crowdfunding is what Kickstarter is. It used to be illegal because they didn't allow public funding. You had to be a publicly traded company to get public funding. Well, they have legislated crowdfunding now, and there's lots of different platforms, which I'm familiar with all of them. Kickstarter is one of the most brilliant ones. This could kickstart our economy. I have numerous projects ready to go with it. What I didn't calculate was that the suicide prevention video was going to take me a lot longer to produce than it did. So now I'm down to just 3 days to go, as you can see, and I still need all this money. So the beauty is I probably am not going to reach my goal because I've only got 3 days to reach it. However, the beauty of Kickstarter is I can relaunch it, and I can go ask those same people that backed it. I can say, would you mind going back and backing it again, because I have to redo it because I ran myself out of time, out of deadline because of stuff. So that's the beauty of a program like Kickstarter. There's lots of crowdfunding. I've decided to I also am the owner of Western Sky Multimedia. While I was out there in the trenches putting this together, I discovered that Scott Malloy, who is the head of the Park and Gallatin County Mental Health Centers and also the head of our crisis team, who I created the crisis intervention video with, I found out that he's on the streets pounding the pavement, begging for money like I've been doing. And I was like, oh my God, Scott. I was like, well, then you're the best prepared to handle a person in crisis, and you're a counselor at the mental health center. So if you're out there begging for money, who's taking care of the people in crisis? Because we've been having suicide after suicide. We had 4 back-to-backs in Butte, and this stuff's crisis. This is important. It's like emergency, really, because in the process of putting this together, which I wanted to prevent the next suicide. That was my goal. We've had so many suicides since I started this project, including 4 back-to-back high school students in Butte. I went down to the Summit Lighthouse down the valley to get some support, and found out they're putting in this really neat healing center down there, and just, it was amazing what they've done. But anyway, I found out they just had a suicide on their property that they consider their retreat. You know, they told me when I went down there, they were like, this is timely information because we just had a suicide on our property. So that's why I'm doing this. Anybody would think that I was insane to even take on a project like this because of my own financial circumstances. However, I really needed to do it because it is a crisis, and because the whole mental health system, the state of Montana, the counties, they all have told me that this is exactly what mental health needs, and I've been telling them that for years. And I finally was like, I'm going to do it anyway, because I kept putting in grants, you know, and I said, I just finally told my board I'm going to do it anyway. And then I got Gallatin LAC behind it, and the state of Montana, and lots of people. And I'm telling you, through the whole thing, while I'm in crisis, I'm having the county attorney over there, you know, the attorney on the boards over there, and the county commission over there in Gallatin, counseling me through it, saying, honey, hold it together, because this project's too important for you to fall apart on us. Really. And right now, I have no income. I'm incomeless right now. But I got to hold it together, and I'm trying to. What I decided to do with my company, which is Western Sky Multimedia, is I've also created a fundraising arm of this, and I've worked out arrangements because of my alliance with the chamber and some of the venues in town. We're going to start doing some serious fundraising for mental health. My company is going to do like a 25% thing, where 75% of everything I raise on every project, I have Artists of Yellowstone Country already put together. I have Livingston, Montana magazine already put together. I'm ready to, I've got partially a Park County magazine already put together. I've got Livingston's Got Talent. I've got all this stuff already done that I can kickstart and use as fundraisers. And Arlen Fishbaugh, the head of the Montana Arts Council, when I told her about my Artists of Yellowstone Country idea, she said, Tammy, those are going to sell like hotcakes. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to be a fundraiser. And I want to say we can kickstart our economy with crowdfunding, and I can teach it. I have studied from the best in the world. And I mean, I've got the courage of my convictions, and I've been doing this for our community as a welfare mom, training with the best on the planet, you know, for this kind of stuff, really, literally. Well, nobody knew what I was doing behind, you know. So anyway, it's been something that's been really on my heart, you know. I've been, one of the things about our board is that hardly anybody knows about it, and it's one of the most important boards in our community because of the crisis. Budget cuts is what's causing, and I'll tell you, Carl Roston, our suicide prevention coordinator, I learned so much, because I went to the state and I told them, I said, I've been to Carl Roston's suicide prevention meetings. He does them all over the state for free. And they're never very well attended. And I was like, I got so much out of them, and I realized that it's for everybody. It's not for people who are suicidal, it's for everybody. So I went up there and I met with the heads of mental health at the state, and I said, I'd like to do a suicide prevention video with you, Carl. And he said that his material's copyrighted, so he couldn't. And I said, well, how about we get together and do an interview video, and you tell us everything you are allowed to tell us. And I want to tell you, it is so significant. I have been going around as a mouthpiece for suicide prevention because of what I learned that I didn't even know. I didn't even know the crisis intervention stuff, even though I've been involved in mental health. This project has been the education of a lifetime, and I've had the opportunity to live the crisis in real time in my own life. So I know what people are dealing with. And so I want to talk to you because my whole thing is about economic development and happiness and community development and worthy causes and raising, you know, awareness. And I'm a media specialist. I do video, I do magazines, I do I'm not real good at websites, but social media, internet marketing, all that stuff is my specialty. So maybe, you know, I've been working too, you know, the whole mental health system has been doing something of a gathering process of gathering people into this collaboration. So I've gathered Western Sustainability Exchange because I think they're one of the moneyliest healthy things that we got going in our community. So I have a 4-page spread on Western, it says, what do Western sustainability and mental health have in common? Is how I interviewed Lil, and I mean, this is a very, very comprehensive publication I've put together for us, and I really I need to train this community on crowdfunding because it is our salvation, in my opinion. That's all I got.
Well, thank you very much, Tammy. appreciate that. Now, you're just making the commission aware of this
Yeah, right.
project.
Yeah, right now, and kind of what I would like to ask the city is that if my board and my company, and I've done this as a board, a company, a chamber, whatever it took to get this into manifestation, which is the idea I had for helping our community. So I've done it as a lot of things, but one of the things Scott Malloy told me, because I told him, I said, Scott, the difference between you and me is you've got a paycheck. That's why I'm panicking and you're not. And he said, but you know what? He said, it's really, really good that you have a for-profit business because our hands are tied. Government agencies, nonprofits, all these things, their hands are tied and don't have the freedom of a for-profit who can work in conjunction with a nonprofit. And I was like, I learned that when I was in Florida, and you're right. So, my business is really kind of like a for-profit nonprofit or a nonprofit for whatever. It's really for the benefit of this community and the people. So thanks.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you.
So Tammy, is there,
I'd like to
is that,
Civic Center thing is what I was going to say. I'd
What-
like to book the Civic Center and be able to do a training if I could, if that's even possible. I don't know.
well, you just work it out with the city administration, and, schedule time with them to book out a time.
And we're having a great big celebration at the Buckhorn Theater, which is in renovation right now, on August 8th. On August 8th, that's our gala celebration for the publication.
Do you want,
I told you, I'm assuming it's going to be published.
I noticed you had cards. Is that something you want
I do
to
have some business cards
pass
there.
out to the commission?
Yeah.
Thank you
And
very
I put
much.
on the back the hats on too.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you, Tammy. And thank you very much for all the hard work you're putting into this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Commission and the city really do appreciate all that hard work.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Tammy, very much. We do have one public hearing tonight. It's resolution number 4483, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Livingston, Montana, approving and adopting the final budget in the amount of $16,321,130 for the fiscal year beginning on July 1st, 2014 and ending June 30th, 2015, and notice of budget increase from property taxes of 0.6% and making appropriations and establishing spending limits and authorizing transfer of appropriations within the same fund. Jesse, do you want to say anything?
Sure. This is the public hearing. We initially saw this resolution at the last meeting. However, it's the culmination of our budget process, which began back in December of 2013 when we started our capital improvement plan. And I'm just really excited to be at this point. So if there's any further questions, I'd be happy to answer any of them.
Okay. This public hearing is now open. Is there anyone who would like to comment on the city's budget expenditures and resolution number 4483? I think this is the first time I've never heard anyone come up for a public hearing on our budget. Was it in the paper?
It was.
Okay.
Double checked.
All right. What, if you'd like. Any public comments? Public comments on resolution 4483? Going once, going twice? All right. Thank you very much. This public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion from the commission on resolution number 4483?
I make a motion that we pass resolution 4483.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Friedman, second by Reddington. Commission discussion, Commissioner Friedman? Commissioner Stern?
Thank you, James. Nice job. Thanks for printing this out, Jesse. So after this public hearing, we have one more reading and then it's done? Is that right?
This will be done now.
This
This is the final. Mhm.
This is it.
And when can we expect the performance budget with the city manager's goals?
I am compiling it. I was compiling it right before the meeting. So I would say I typically like to wait for the final mill levy to come out. But if I get it done beforehand, you could see it as early as the end of July. So
And the mill levy comes out at the end of July.
beginning of August.
Beginning of August.
So if I'm that close, I might wait. I'll keep you guys informed.
Great, thanks. Well, good job on the budget. One more down. Thank you.
Commissioner Reddington?
Great job.
Okay. Commissioner Hoagland?
Just want to thank you again for all your hard work. You do a great job.
Thank you very much. I have no comment. Roll call.
Chairman Bennett,
Yes?
Commissioner Hoagland,
Yes.
Commissioner Reddington,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern.
4.
Commissioner Friedman.
4. Motion passes. Okay, we have one ordinance tonight. Ordinance number 2050, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Livingston, Montana, establishing a civil offense for interfering with the street sweeper and establishing a penalty. Jesse, do we refer that to you, or?
Yes, I'll let Darren answer any technical questions.
Okay.
But this ordinance is the first of 2 readings we'll see on this. The next one will come back at the next meeting in July. This ordinance basically makes it a civil offense to interfere with the street sweeper, basically makes it a requirement that you move your vehicle on street sweeping day, and establishes fines for doing so. We will establish the schedule and a resolution further on in the meeting. So, any technical questions, I'll defer to Darren.
All right, and this does have a public hearing, correct? And we established that the public hearing for this will be at the next commission meeting on July 15th. I think it's stated in the packet, it was a typographical error. It said June 17th. It's actually July 15th for the record. So we'll discuss the ordinance tonight and then look at it again for final approval and public hearing on July 17th. 17th, right? Got it right. July 15th, excuse me. So is there a motion from the commission on ordinance number 2050?
I move we approve ordinance 2050.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Stern, second by Hoagland. Any commission discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Stern, excuse me.
Thank you. So what do you mean the schedule? We'll determine a schedule and a resolution later?
The schedule is determined by resolution rather than an ordinance, so that it can be changed more easily at any point in time.
And what is the schedule of which you speak?
The schedule of when the street sweeper will come around and do the streets.
The actual schedule.
Yes.
I got you.
Mhm.
So what sort of obstructions, what sort of crimes are we considering in this ordinance?
It'd be a $20 parking ticket.
It says not to exceed $300.
Yeah, it'd be $20. That's what we'll probably put on the tickets, consistent with any other parking violation.
So should we put that in the ordinance? If it's a $20 parking ticket, I mean, this says $300. Upon reading this, my initial reaction was that this $300 is quite excessive for the infraction that we're considering. And so I'm encouraged by what you said, that this is a $20 parking ticket, and perhaps the language of the ordinance should reflect that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Bruce put that in there. I think that's the maximum amounts, allowable for a civil penalty in the city ordinance. I'll talk to Bruce about that and find out why the wording is, but at least it was my understanding it's going to be a standard parking violation. And as with any other parking violations, we'd have the option to tow vehicles if need be. But I would certainly envision just a $20 ticket.
Well, I mean, so there being a rather large discrepancy between this value and the $20 parking, which is, I'm totally aligned with that penalty, that degree of penalty, I would either move to alter the ordinance to reflect that maximum of $50, or we can wait for input from the attorney, which might be more prudent so that we would get some reasoning behind this value, and then if we need to change it then. But I'm hesitant to approve this ordinance as written because I think this penalty is excessive, especially given what the chief just told us. So those are my comments, and I'll yield for now. Thank you.
Do you want to provide a alternative motion or rescind the present motion to approve this ordinance as it's written?
I personally think it's probably most prudent to get feedback from the attorney to find out why they put this value in. Maybe there's some sort of, maybe he's got some reason, you know, so that they've got, we could come up with some justifications. Maybe they do progressive, you know, increasing or whatever. But still, we should get feedback on the attorney before moving forward on this.
Yeah.
So,
Are you suggesting tabling the issue till the next meeting?
Yeah.
Well, I am interested to hear what any of the commissioners might think about the issue.
Commissioner Reddington?
That was my question too, with the price on that, the 300 and then 500 for
Goes up
each.
to 500.
Yeah, up to 500 seemed pretty excessive. So I agree with Commissioner Stern. We should clarify that. So I don't know if we want to table that. Right?
Okay.
Talk to Bruce.
Commissioner Hoagland?
Well, I have questions on how we will warn people of the street sweeper schedule. I mean, we get it in the mail. We know as community members, but for people visiting, you know, coming for an event, things like that. Have we clarified that yet?
We haven't. You know, it's tough. I think the idea was initially give this summer, the first few months, as a trial schedule to get the schedule out, because we've been, you know, as you know, the street sweeper has been real sporadic, and there has not been enforcement. In fact, we do not have an ordinance at the present time prohibited, you know, people from parking in front of the street sweeper. So the idea was to go through the summer, give them a couple months to accustom to here comes a street sweeper, and we do have a schedule, and they know what the schedule is, and then start the enforcement at the end of the summer. But as it plays out now, the earliest we're going to get this, it's 30 days after the second reading. So the street sweeper, I think, will be done, the formal schedule, by the middle of August, right, Shannon? So the earliest we're going to be able to enforce it, if this goes through tonight, will be August 15th. So it's really a non-issue for this year. We'll essentially have everything in place, and then we will start the enforcement efforts for next year. But I think we could, you know, spring, before we get to the schedule, you know, public announcements in the paper, put it out in the water bills, the announcements as we do that we're going to enforce it. There will be a $20 fine or whatever we decide. So I think we would have all winter to, you know, worry about it. It's a non-issue really this year. We're not going to be able to enforce it this summer.
You want to add something to that?
Interrupt, but we have at Public Works bought 100 signs that say street maintenance that we're going, if we need to get to that point and they work out good, that will be the notification. It also takes staff members to go out and relocate those on a weekly or daily basis, but we went ahead and purchased about 100 of those to see how they would handle in our wind and weather. But that would be probably our next course of action on notifying the public, and that should be able to cover residents and anyone that's visiting in town as well, with those putting those at the beginning of each block.
Right. All right.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Stern.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, I felt the same way when I read this. I saw the $300 and $500, but I think it's good to get started to get people aware of this. Didn't we try this last year, going after trailers and stuff that had been around for a while? And we had a hue and cry that was unbelievable, but I think it's worthwhile to get a program started. So.
Well, we do. The trailers have always been a violation to park over 5 days. It's just been At one point, about 10 years ago, the city commission, their informal direction was to enforce it on a complaint basis, and if it's not bothering anybody, not a traffic issue, don't aggressively enforce it. And that's kind of the way we've been now. If we get complaints, or if it's obvious that the trailer's been there so long, there's debris and everything. But I think the street sweeper schedule would be a good way to deal with abandoned vehicles, with trailers and things like that, because if they're abandoned, if they're not moved during the street sweeper time, then we can deal with it. We'll take it at the next go around. We can take them again. If they're still there, then it can be considered an abandoned vehicle, and we could remove it. It'd be pretty obvious it's not being moved and interfering with the street sweeper. So I think it'd be a good tool to identify the abandoned vehicles around town, because sometimes, especially now with lifetime registration, they could be legally parked on the street forever, essentially. And we don't know if people are driving them or not. They could be parked there, and somebody that lives there can say, that thing's been there for 6 months or a year without being moved, and we don't know that. As an officer, we don't know if people are driving and parking in the same spot every day. There's sometimes it becomes obvious and apparent and broken down and debris and things like that, but sometimes not so much. So I think this would be a good tool. And I don't think there's any urgency in passing this tonight because, like I said, enforcement is going to be a non-issue for this year, even if we go ahead now. So I think we've got time. At the earliest we're going to be able to enforce it will be next June, next year's street sweeper schedule. So there's no urgency. And I'm curious to find out what Bruce's reasoning behind that was too. And I agree that $300 to $500 may be a little excessive, and I think would cause some public stir.
So what?
Mr. Chair, I move we table this to the next meeting when we can discuss it with the city manager. Seeing as it's not time critical, we'll discuss it with the city attorney. Make sure we get it right.
Okay.
I move we table this till the next meeting.
So let's do this. We have a motion. Let's get a motion to rescind the motion.
Wouldn't we just do a second on the table and then a vote?
We don't have Bruce here. I'm not sure the exact method. I think that should be adequate.
Yeah, so there's a motion to table it on the table.
Okay, I haven't heard the motion yet.
I move we table it till the next meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so a motion to table ordinance number 2050 until further clarification. So there's a motion by Stern, a second by Reddington to table. Okay. Any further commission discussion on this issue? Roll call.
Chairman Bennett?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoagland?
Yes.
Commissioner Whittington?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Four.
Commissioner Freeman?
4.
Motion to table ordinance A, ordinance number 2050 passes. Okay, we do have two resolutions tonight. Resolution number 4473, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Livingston, Montana, establishing the street sweeper schedule. Now, it is my understanding that this wouldn't really, the two go hand in hand, but we can still pass this resolution because it doesn't really, there's no urgency about the enforcement issue. So, is there a motion from the commission?
I make a motion we pass resolution 4473.
I second that.
Motion by Friedman, second by Stern to pass resolution 4473. Is there any comments from the administration on this one?
The only thing I would add is that this has been sent out with all utility bills. Citizens are well aware of it. We've put it up on our website, on the Facebook page, and there's a big map of it out in front of the city offices. So.
Shannon?
And I will add that that I'm pleased that it is in a resolution because this is our first attempt. So if we do need to modify it based on this summer, that gives us the option to do that for next year. I think it's going very well. We're out and about 10 hours a day, 2 weeks per month. Matter of fact, we're out 84 hours in 2 weeks because we typically will start at 5 in the morning and do the downtown one day each week. And it has really helped us operationally in the street department, where we have that street sweeper operator that can help with other activities for the remaining 2 weeks. I have not gotten any complaints since we started this schedule like we were getting back in early May and late April. So I think it's been a success. I did talk to Craig Hahn, the street foreman, this morning, and he's been overall pleased. We have not seen, unfortunately, that people have been more proactive on moving their vehicles as a result of this, but the step that we previously discussed, I think, will keep us going in the right direction on that. So,
Great. Thank you, Shannon. Commission discussion. Oh,
I have a question for Shannon. Some people mentioned to me today the issue of the green containers being out, and then the street is supposed to be cleared. So you're supposed to put the containers out, and the street's supposed to be clear of vehicles, but you have to put the containers out. So do you have any advice to the community on that? Because they were both today on some streets.
that is a great question, and I think that's why this is in a resolution, so maybe we need to look at that next year on how to handle it.
Okay.
I would say with the number of green cans, it would be somewhat unrealistic for a street sweeper operator to get out and move each one of those, but it is a lot smaller than a parked vehicle, so the amount of area that we can sweep around a green can is much less than a parked vehicle. So I'll look into that, and we'll see what we can do. We do need the green cans out in the street, though, because this is the way
They can't be on the boulevard, is that right?
No.
Okay, not even like on the edge? Just,
I'll look into that.
okay, all right.
Make sure that we
Because
don't have
they were asking.
liability from that. So.
Okay, thank you.
any other commission discussion on this issue? Commissioner Freeman, no? Commissioner Stern?
We need a motion and a second, really, to have the discussion.
We do have that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so we don't have a resolution for like snow plowing, do we? That adopts the snow plow schedule. So
I don't know. Do
it
we?
seems a little bit unnecessarily detailed, adopting the actual schedule, right? You guys should be able to change the schedule without coming to the city commission. I could certainly see passing a resolution that empowers the administration to create a street sweeping schedule, but we don't need to approve this exact schedule. I don't think we approve the city administration changes the snowplow routes kind of on an ad hoc basis, and they don't come to the commission for that. But certainly I understand that it's necessary to pass a resolution to set the schedule so that the city has clear direction and authority to do this enforcement sort of thing.
Mr. Chair, if I could interject.
Yes, yes. Chief.
The ordinance provides the enforcement tool, and the ordinance specifies time periods, that people cannot park their vehicle. And if they're parked there during the specific time periods, it's a violation. So the ordinance refers to the time period is the street sweeper schedule that is adopted by resolution. So we need to have a detailed schedule that tells people very specifically when they cannot park their vehicles. Like the first Tuesday in June on this side of the street is very specific. If you're parked there between these hours, it's a violation. And the enforcement piece would be through the ordinance. So we would need a schedule, very specific schedule like this. We could change it as needed, and the ordinance would still apply because whatever the schedule is would be in effect. Versus the snowplow, we don't ticket people if they're parked in a snowplow route because we don't have a designated snowplow route. It's the main thoroughfares that they protocol they try to keep clear, but it's the traffic lane that they keep clear. I mean, we can't, for obvious reasons, plow city streets. If we try to get people to move their cars every time it snows, it's pretty, subjective how much snow it's. We can't say we're going to plow snow on the first and third Tuesdays, of every month. We plow snow when it snows. So we would have to establish snow routes and everything, and it'd be extremely difficult.
The schedule doesn't go into the city codes, right? The schedule will be like posted on the city website. Well, you said there has to be a clear schedule, and so that schedule will be posted publicly and notified and all, but it wouldn't go in the city code. So
No, it'd be an official schedule adopted by resolution, so it would be an official document. If we had to change the schedule for the green can issues or whatever, then we would simply pass another resolution saying here's going to be the new schedule, and then post it.
The administration the authority to set the schedule.
Commissioner Freeman, if I may?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have the floor.
I don't keep calling you Commissioner Stern. Thank you.
Both have the same haircut.
Excuse me. I think what the chief is saying is that in order for them to have the enforcement part, they need a clear, defined resolution of schedule that the citizens can refer back to. So if they object to the fine, they can go back and say, okay, well, I was fined on such and such a date in this location, and that then has to be some type of official resolution in order for the ordinance to actually have any weight and merit in a court of law.
We could pass a resolution that empowers the administration to set a schedule. You know what I'm saying? Then you guys could adjust the schedule as you see fit without having to come to the commission and be more responsive to the city.
The only problem I see, if I may, is that people then become dependent on a specific schedule and know that on the second Monday of the month, they know that they can have their car there. If the administration then changes it, it needs to be noticed somehow in that process. I'm sure they could notice it, but I guess I personally don't see any problem with this method of having it as an official document, as a resolution, and then having the ordinance refer to these dates. And then when it needs to be changed, it comes back to the commission, these are changed, and now the ordinance is still referring to the same. The ordinance wouldn't change, it's only the schedule that would change.
That would hold otherwise as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, certainly.
Yeah.
It's a...
You make a really good point, though.
Well, just so they don't have to bring it back to the commission every time they want to change it. But if that's what they wanted to go forward, that's fine.
I think in court legality, we would have to have the resolution to fall back on. Otherwise, there'd be obvious defenses that the administration, we say, well, next week we're going to change the schedule, and people don't know about it, and the court goes, well, what legal document do you have to rely on where you set that schedule, arbitrarily saying, well, the administration is going to change it, and then somebody assess a penalty for violating that schedule. If it's set by resolution, it's set in stone. It's an official document. It's an effective that date. And then when we change it, again, it's another official document that we could rely on that's passed by the city commission to hold up in court. It's passed through resolution. It is official. It's an official action, where is an administrative action isn't an official document. It's more of an operational guideline. Something like this, I think, if there's going to be an enforcement component, it has to have the resolution tied to specific dates and times where it's very clear. And
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Reddington?
Oh,
Any
no.
thoughts on that one?
I'm good.
Mr. Hoagland?
No.
I think I was following you until the idea was brought up with the ordinance referring back to the resolution, and that's when it started to click for me, because I agreed with you there that not necessarily needed to come to the commission, that the administration could do it, but then I could see the problem legally, and also I think it gives the city administration a marker that, well, if we're going to change this, we're going to come back, and we got to make sure we do all these things so that the citizens know that, this has been changed, and give them ample time to adjust as well. So I think there's a benefit in that regard as well.
I agree on your second point, but not on the first. There would still be a resolution upon which the ordinance would sit.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, minor points.
All right, is there any public comment or any other clarification from the administration on this issue, or any other commission discussion? Okay, great. Roll call.
Chairman Bennett,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoagland,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddington,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern.
4.
Commissioner Friedman.
4.
Motion passes. Resolution number 4473 passes. Okay, we have resolution number 4484, resolution of the City Commission of the City of Livingston, Montana, declaring a 1998 Dodge half-ton pickup surplus property and transferring ownership of the Livingston to the Livingston Business Improvement District in recognition of the public purposes they serve in local economic development. Jesse, you have any thoughts on that?
I'll defer to Public Works Director Holmes.
Well, to summarize, last summer, the city has an employee that picked up the garbage downtown and watered the flowers. It was a decision between administration and the members of the BID that we would explore options for cost-saving measures, and one of those was transferring the ownership of the pickup truck that we used last summer to do those same duties to the BID this year, and they hired their own person to do the work. And this is along those same lines. It is a 1998 Dodge pickup truck. It has 98,000 miles. It's very useful for this, and it is ready to go. Public Works, we've taken everything that we need, the radio and the lights and everything off of it, and if you approve it, we will be happy to give them the keys as soon as they want to come and pick it up.
Great, thank you very much. Why don't you hold on for just a second? Okay. Is there a motion from the commission on resolution number 4484?
I make a motion we approve resolution 4484.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Reddington, second by Friedman. Commission discussion. Commissioner Friedman.
Yes. I don't know if you all got the emails today regarding this from the BID people. There were questions of once they have this vehicle, they're responsible for the gas, insurance, and all that stuff. They were looking for help. So I'm not very clear how we answer the inquiries that we got, but did other people get the email as well?
Yes.
So I think we better kind of clear up all those little questions of who's responsible for what, so that we can move forward. But there were several questions in that email, and I don't know if you received the same.
I did, Commissioner Friedman.
If I may, Commissioner Friedman?
Pardon?
If I may comment on that? I think this came up in discussion at our last meeting regarding this vehicle, and it seemed like, and correct me if I'm wrong, the tenor of the commission at that point was once ownership is transferred, responsibility is transferred as well. And I think that's where we left it at that meeting. Are you looking to pursue another alternative?
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying on the other side is not accepting what we put out there. So that's the question. That's where I am right now. They're trying to get both parties together here, so we don't have a misunderstanding. No, I understand that, but there still seems to be a disagreement with the transfer of the vehicle. Who's going to do what? And according to the email, so I was kind of confused after reading that. I thought we were doing a good thing, but we haven't gone far enough. So I'm looking for some answers to that.
Okay, I think there's someone from the BID who would like to comment on this. Yeah, go ahead. Come on in. Come on up. Just name and address for the record.
Jill Maybe, 310 South H Street. I'm the secretary for the BID. And that email did not represent the the understanding of the rest of the board of the BID, there was a little confusion. At the last meeting, we understand. I mean, you can't insure the truck for us because that'd be like me asking my neighbor to insure my car, you know, for me. And we understand that. We were looking for a little relief if we could get a gas card to fill the gas tank on city. It doesn't get much mileage. It's mainly used for picking up the garbage and watering the plants in downtown. We do seem to be using a lot of our funds for just this kind of things, and we'd like to do some other things, you know, like the Hoot, we're kind of sponsoring that and things like that. So we were looking if there was any way that we could get a gas card, for instance, for the truck. That would be great, and that would just be, you know, icing on the cake. We very much appreciate the gift of the truck and do not at all want to give you the sense that we are not very grateful for that. And for your encouragement of us and for the work that we're doing with that. So I want to make that very clear to you. That, and to clarify all of that, that email that you got was not, it didn't represent the entire board. Okay. Okay. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are there concerns with the rest of you on the costs of the truck, along with gas, along with insurance, outweighing what you had done previously, like last year, when the cost last year was $20 or something per Jesse hour? And this year now you're taking on the cost of maintaining a truck potentially. Is there any worries with the BID on that?
The BID is young. It's what, 3 years old now, and we are getting our feet under us and finding out how much things are costing. The baskets that are currently up is going to about double. Is that the URA is buying the baskets and doing that, and then we are taking care of them, and and there are going to be more garbage cans as we go along over the years. So our costs are going to go up, and roughly, you know, in doubling time. And we're looking at various ways that we can cut those costs. Like, can we get a little watering reservoir in the planters so they don't have to be watered every single day? Because now, if they're not, they die. You know, they have to be watered every single day. So we are struggling with all of that. So if in that sense, yes, it's a constant thing that weighs on us. We only have a certain amount of money that we have coming in for 10 years, and starting 3 years ago, and we have to deal with that budget. And so all the things that we would like to do to promote business downtown, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the downtown as pleasant of a place as we can to encourage people to come downtown and buy locally and things. So in that way, yes, but we're doing okay, I think. We're doing good. Anything else?
Why don't you just wait? Commissioner Stern, do you have any comments?
After getting Dan's email, I did a little reading on the urban renewal plan, and the Urban Renewal Agency is authorized to contract for services. Typically, the Livingston Urban Renewal Agency has shied away from that because of some of their experiences earlier in their life cycle, or earlier in their existence. But it is technically feasible to contract for services. So, and of course, that by and large is up to the folks on the URA. But there might be some appropriate funding sources for both the gas and the insurance, which I think would fall under the purview of the urban renewal plan. So I mean, talk with them, and then you know, there's a grant application form from the URA. It's available on the website, and maybe the BID could apply for a grant via the URA. And so I at least would, you know, if you guys took that route, I at least would approve that.
Thank you, because we do seem to have a close relationship with the URA anyway. We seem to be, both of us, supporting each other, and we're trying to form partnerships with other organizations downtown, with the chamber and everyone. So yeah, thank you. That's a
natural funding source.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on.
Okay, I'll take that back to the board, and thank you for the offer.
I would prefer that than pull the funds out of the general fund.
Thank you. I'll take that back to the board also. Thank you.
That is all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Reddington? Commissioner Hoagland? Shannon?
Oh, I just have a couple comments. First of all, I appreciate Jill's comments pertaining to the email. That's how I guess, perceived that. Also, I did not see what the BID's original proposal for this was, and to see if the gas card insurance or any of that was included. So I can't speak to that, but I will say that the city has reserved a parking stall behind the pickle barrel at the B Street well to give a place to store the vehicle. I've worked with Randy Chambers, who is been hired by the BID to do the watering of the flowers and the garbage pickup. We provide the garbage bags. We're putting a 300-gallon black container down in the alley near downtown to give him a convenient spot. We do not charge the BID for the garbage removal at the transfer station, and he's able to come and get free water for the flowers or any of the other downtown beautification projects that he's doing down there. So, you know, I value the partnership we have with the BID. So,
right. Well, it sounds like the resolution before us is the transfer of the vehicle. If there's any other issues that need to be resolved in the future, we'll have to take that up at a different time. Is there any objection to the BID to have the transfer of the vehicle? No. Okay, you want it. Okay. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure. All right. So is there any other further commission discussion? Okay. We do have a motion, correct? Let me just double check. Wrong page. Okay, we do have a motion. Roll call.
Chairman Bennett,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoagland,
Yes.
Commissioner Whittington,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern,
4.
Commissioner Friedman,
4.
Motion passes. BID now has a truck. Okay. Action items. Discuss, approve, deny construction of a climbing boulder in Fireman's Park. Jake, is that you? All right. Let's go ahead and just state your name and address for the record, please.
Jacob Breeze, 103 South F Street. Sorry, my voice is a little.
Why don't you pull that mic a little closer to you so we can get you on the
My
recording?
voice is a little messed up from yelling during the soccer match. So.
It's okay, we completely understand.
Yeah, it was intense. Well, a lot of the material that. Yeah, I think there's some material in the packet that you folks have. Since our last time I was here, we had a very constructive meeting with the administration, Mr. Meese, Mr. Browning, and Mrs. Wolf. And these are the minutes from that meeting. And one of the owners of Stronghold Fabrication, a company in Bozeman that specializes in boulder construction, was there. And a lot of it was just, you know, getting to know each other and what they do and Mr. Meese's expectations and things to make him feel more comfortable. Reading down the list there, it's pretty self-explanatory. 1-year warranty, contractor's guarantee, things that we kind of had discussed, I'm sorry, that Mr. Meese had brought up during the May 20th commission meeting, at which we talked about a resolution to come forward with. And that, as you'll see, also it's up to me and Doug to provide material, educational material for a sign, which I thought was a really good idea. Just very basic information, like what kind of the holes these are and things like that, and then some other signage for like you know, share the boulder, respect your neighbor, and use at your own risk. So pretty much there was some confusion, a lot of confusion, probably on, I don't know, maybe my part, I don't know, about whether this was actually going to be a resolution at this meeting or not. I have in my notes that Mr. Meese from the meeting was going to, he wants to, draw all this up in a contract, send it to the Stronghold Fabrication Company, but apparently Mr. Meese remembers it differently, in which he wants us to get all these things, and then we'll get the resolution. Now, I want you to understand, though, that doesn't change the actions of, like right now, I've talked to Mr. Pat Wolf and Whit Magro today. They're the owners of Stronghold. They're working on this right now. The biggest crux here is getting the engineer stamp on the boulder, not because of any structural issues, just it's building season, and they're on the schedule to be seen by an engineer. It's just, climbing boulders not a big priority for an engineer in Bozeman right now. So that's the holdup. Now, so when I saw this was an action item, I just made some phone calls and emails, and didn't realize Ed was on vacation, trying to just clarify from my knowledge. And the reason it's not important, it's not going to change anything, but what it does mean is that if we do the resolution, it allows Ed to send the contract, and that way if the company gets all these items done, they can send the contract back, and we can keep the ball rolling, rather than, say, if they get the engineers and all these things acquired next week, now they have to wait till the next commission meeting for us to do this contract. Now, I don't know if Mr. Browning remembers anything about the meeting that maybe I didn't write down, or anything I'm missing at all.
Mr. Holmes.
I mean,
Holmes.
I was just,
So
I'm kind of, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead, Jesse.
I've just had some communications with Mr. Meese about where he feels that this needs to be going. I'll just convey that. He said that he would like the items on the bullet point before we do a resolution. I'm not sure which of those need to be done, if it's all of them. And then the other thing that needs to be done is a use agreement, similar to what we've done for the Livingston Ice Skating Association. Mr. Becker has drafted one up. Jake did get a chance to look at that, but it's just a draft, and I do have that here. I don't think that I don't think that at this point in time that we could at all say that we could change this to a resolution. I think that at this point in time we just have to move forward with the action item, approve it however it needs to be approved, whatever we are approving, and move forward with a resolution at the next meeting, is his opinion.
And I would think that Mr. Meese would really want, especially all the items for Stronghold Fabrication in the resolution. Yeah. So, other than that, though, everything about the boulder hasn't changed at all. It just, we're still at the same funding level, and I think my presentation's in the packet from before this. So this is the only really new information from that meeting, and exactly how to proceed forward is kind of a
little unclear right at the moment.
Yes. Any advice, Jesse, or? But
if I could, my understanding is that I think I concur with you that whenever we proceed on one of these items, at least being in my experience, is that the city and the organization come to an agreement, a development agreement, and then a ongoing maintenance agreement. So, though I think those would be something you'd want to work out with the administration. What does the commission need to approve or give its okay on tonight?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah. Yes.
Nothing. We've already approved this, so we don't even need to approve this action item. Jake, the best way to work forward, my man, is to go work with the company and the administration and just get those points, and then they'll bring the resolution. I know you worked hard on it, and I know it's taken a long time, and I know you're frustrated, but just keep plugging away. And
yeah, perfect. No worries. It's fine. And just the reason I'm here is I, up until Friday, thought it was going to be a resolution tonight. So a lot of this is my confusion probably. So just a little redundant. As far as the maintenance plan, we did talk about a few of those things. It has to be resealed every year, and that's something that we'll look at covering for the first couple. I'm sorry, every 2 years. And we'll look at covering that cost with the other funds from Park County Community Foundation for the first couple stages. And we did talk about. Oh, hi. And we talked about a lot of the development and area of usage, and Mr. Browning had some input to the meeting as well, so I'll let him clarify any.
I'm Shannon Holmes, by the way.
What do I keep calling you?
Browning.
Other Shannon.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm thinking of the firefighter.
No, that's all right.
Sorry.
No, the meeting we had on June 10th, I thought was an excellent meeting, and I guess I have to commend Ed for putting basically the bullet points from that meeting, and I left the meeting with the understanding that everything on the list was an achievable task, but a lot of it was put back on Stronghold Fabrication to provide the documentation, and I think that's where we're at. So
when is Mr. Meese back from vacation?
I know he'll be back at work on Monday.
It's coming up Monday.
Yes, the
Okay.
7th.
Then I would, as Commissioner Stern said, let's keep the process going and work with the administration. Once we get that, slam dunk, as far as I'm concerned. But no, that's okay. But Jake, at least from my perspective, and I'm sure the other commissioners feel the same way, we're really appreciative of all the hard work you're putting into this. It's a really great asset for the community, and really appreciate your efforts in this and putting it together.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
One final question. Jake, is this the Rock Climbers of Livingston or the Livingston Climbing Initiative?
Well, that was Mr. Becker. He came in this morning in his busy schedule and graciously wrote this up, and he didn't. We hadn't had a chance to talk to Mr. Becker.
You'll work it out.
Yeah, so we're the
Change it.
Livingston Climbing Initiative, but we'll work it out.
Thanks a lot,
Two
Jake.
different things in the agreement.
Thanks a lot. Keep it up. All right. Action item B, discuss, approve, deny URA grant to CTA for landscape improvements. How's it going?
It's going great.
Good.
I'm Ryan Rivard here with the URA. And you guys all have it in your packet, correct?
Correct.
So this is a grant for some landscaping. We have a parking lot improvement program in place, and we have budgeted out, I believe it's around $10,000 a year for improvements. I think maybe 5 or 10,000. But typically what we do is around $1,500. And so CTA did request $2,000 for the new finance building on B Street, and we figured out that typically we do about $1,500, and so we went ahead and approved a grant for $1,500 instead of the $2,000 that they requested, just because we felt like some of the removal of the shrubs and things like that, since it is CTA's business that owns it and not the city, that we felt like we needed to partner with them and that they needed to have a stake in it as well. So that's why we did the $1,500.
Right. Great. All right. Is there any commission questions or discussion?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the urban renewal grant for landscape improvements at the CTA and city offices to the amount of $1,500.
Okay, so there is a motion by Stern,
I'll second.
second by Hoagland. Any other commission discussion?
This parking lot improvement program continues to be well worth its time and effort. Good job, URA folks.
Good job, URA people, overall. You guys do a great job. You do a lot of hard work for the community.
Yes, thank you for all your efforts.
Wow,
All
they
the-
should come do some presentations. I get all.
Okay. Is there any other public comment or commission discussion? Okay, roll call.
Chairman Bennett,
Yes?
Commissioner Hoagland,
Yes?
Commissioner Whittington,
Yes.
Four.
Freeman.
4.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming out and doing that. All right, so no city manager tonight, so Jesse, are you sitting in to make comments? Do you have some?
I have no comments to make.
Okay, check that one off. Okay, commission comments, Commissioner Friedman.
Yes, I'm on the tree board, and I just wanted to pass some quick information on. I met with Shannon and Brianna at a meeting. We have a vendor And Mike Garvey is the one that's going to be doing the tree inventory. He's a certified arborist, really decent guy and very knowledgeable. And I think he talked in terms of July 7th, July 8th of starting this program. And he also consented to meet with the tree board so we could learn some expertise from him. So all the way around, it was a good meeting. I think we have a wonderful vendor here. And I want to wish everybody a safe July 4th.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Stern.
Thank you. Only that, Shannon, Mr. Browning, there's a baseball tournament. The LBA, as you probably know, is putting on a baseball tournament at the baseball fields this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We're probably getting about, 13 or 14 different teams from around the area that'll be coming. My kid plays baseball, so I was down there helping him clean up the fields and putting out the garbage cans. And last year the cans did not fill up, but they got close, so I don't know if you want to take any action at all, but just be aware there'll be a ton of people down there at the baseball fields, and the garbage cans might need a little attention. Great. And the LBA wanted to express their thanks for working with them and that they're willing to haul the garbage too, but if we could all just work together to make sure that we spend a ton of time cleaning that place up so it looks nice for everybody coming in out of town, and if we could just work to keep it clean, that'd be great. And I know you guys have your own schedule, and this is kind of a wish list thing to ask, but is there any way to mow any of the grass on those fields? There's only 3 fields being used, 1, 2, and 3. Those are right there in the middle, and if there's any chance to mow the grass, especially on the infield, but in the infield and the outfield before the tournament, that would make the ball play excellent. And I understand if you can't do it, you guys have your own schedules. Right on, Shannon. Thank you. That's all.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Reddington.
I want to say I thought it was really interesting. Chief Rainey, I think we had a discussion last meeting about uncontrolled intersections, and Chief Rainey sent us some information. I believe it was 88% of the accidents happen in controlled intersections with signage and stoplights, and I'm just going to stick that in my pocket because everybody asks about that, and people that come in here from out of town and visit, you know, how do you drive like this? Now I just keep that and pull that card out and say, hey, here's the stats on it, you know, and I really appreciate that. Thanks for doing the homework on that. Yeah, I found that nice to have, nice information to have. Thanks, Darren. All right, that's it.
You. Commissioner Hoagland.
I'm just excited about this week in Livingston. I think we have one of the best communities in the country for having a good time and celebrating the 4th of July, and in many ways, in that the rodeo sells out. People are looking all over Facebook right now for rodeo tickets. You might be able to sell them on the streets, but I think it's a great community and we do a great job, and I'm looking forward to it. I guess that's it for today.
Thank you very much. There's a lot on the calendar of events. Of course, the rodeo is the big thing. There is also, if you drive down Park Street across from Timber Trails, you see the art show setting up. So that's another event that happens during this week. And then something we haven't had this before is this year is the art show starting on the 5th. There's a reception.
Yeah.
There's what was the name of that? Asian Yellowstone.
Yellowstone and the Asian Initiative. And I was able to help out.
What was that, John?
Yellowstone Asian Initiative.
Yeah. So that's at the Shane Center, right?
Right.
Starts on the 5th at 5:30 to 7:30.
The opening.
The opening.
A little sneak preview of some of that stuff. Myself and Commissioner Friedman's granddaughter and my kids helped unload some of that stuff yesterday, so it's going to be a pretty good exhibit.
Right.
Including some of the Chinese artists will be
Right.
here.
I think 5 of the artists are going to be here.
So.
And I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at the sketch of the mural on the Civic Center. Is up now.
Haven't seen that.
They have the outline.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So a lot of exciting events happening in Livingston this week. Plus, we're going to have hot weather. Very hot weather. It's supposed to get up in the 90s over the weekend. The commission does have a city-county meeting tomorrow morning at 9:30 in the county commissioner chambers for all those who haven't got enough meetings in this week. It's another exciting meeting for us. So that's all I have, just those little announcements. So is there any public comment for tonight? Just come on up and just go ahead and state your name and address again for the record.
I'm Ryan Rivard, 812 River Drive. I just have some questions about getting on the agenda. I know last time there was a discussion about that Ed was going to be able to kind of decide what was on the agenda. And we had a URA meeting on June 17th. On June 18th, we emailed out what we would ask to be on the agenda for tonight. 2 of those items didn't make it. There was no reason. We passed 3 motions, and 2 of them just didn't come. One of them was the climbing boulder, and so that could have been because it wasn't a resolution or something. But our motion was stated that if the city commission allows the climbing boulder to be in, that we would like to give a $4,000 grant. And then the other one is we had approved to hire the guy who's doing the watering. Some of that. He did an excellent job cleaning up around the guest house because it was just looking terrible. I don't know if you guys have recognized that corner, but on the URA bid, we want the downtown to look great. We want the district to look fantastic. So we've taken it upon ourselves to go ahead and hire this guy who does it great. We've contracted a certain number of hours with your permission and approval to clean the downtown. Well, we've missed that opportunity now. I mean, because now we're going to be, in the middle of July, and then by the time we get it, so he's looking at August before he can even start. And so I'm wondering what the process is and how do we get something like that? That was very important to the URA board. It was a unanimous decision, yet we were not on the agenda.
My suggestion would be not only to let the administration know, but to let the commission know as well.
When we're not, we requested on the 18th that we get on the agenda for the July 1st.
What I was saying for the future, maybe not only send the request to the administration so they know, but also to the commission so they're aware, so that we can make sure the issue gets on as well, just as a safeguard.
Okay.
I'm sure. I don't think it was intentional. I'm sure it was an oversight or maybe a misunderstanding, but let's make sure that we get that on for the next meeting.
Yes, I will.
I give a second to that. So 2 commissioners, and now it's on the agenda.
Yeah. So
we want it on. Okay.
We want it on the agenda as an action item next meeting, which is July the 15th.
And to clarify, there should be 2 items: the climbing boulder and the cleanup.
Donation for the climbing boulder from the URA.
Correct. And then the approval, Joe, what is his name? Oh, Randy Chambers.
And approval for hiring Randy Chambers for a certain amount?
For contracting Randy Chambers.
You've got the language.
Yeah, whatever that amount is, make sure that it's on the
It is in there, correct. It is in there. Thank
Jesse,
you.
do we know why they didn't make it to the agenda?
The only thing that I have from the URA that didn't make it to the agenda from the administration was the Civic Center Cultural Exchange Community Mural East Meets West theme. And Pam told me that it was received too late to go on the agenda. But if you want to forward me those 2 items,
sure,
I will make sure they get on there. I'm not sure why it didn't get on there.
Okay.
And then the efforts of saving time, I mean, it's only 8 o'clock, so.
Yeah, but it has to be noticed.
Well, no, I know we couldn't do it tonight, but yeah, that's unfortunate. And it's not like, I mean, they say get it in before, the Wednesday or Tuesday before, but that was well
18th.
before that deadline.
Yeah.
So we apologize for that.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, thank you.
But this will be on the agenda next time, right?
Correct.
Yes.
We've had a motion and a second. All right.
2 commissioners have asked to put it on.
Jake, I saw your hand up. Did you want to say something? Same thing? Okay. Is there any other public comment for tonight? Any other public comment? This is your last chance. It's like those emails you get. This is the last chance, and then you get another one the next day. It's the last chance. All right. Since there is no further public comment, this meeting of the Livingston City Commission is adjourned.
Doesn't there need to be a motion to adjourn?
Oh, yes, we do need a motion. I can't do it on my own.
I move we adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. This meeting is adjourned at 8 o'clock.
Wow.
I know, I was getting a little.
You missed something?
We acted on making our.
How you doing?
I am, I was.
What's that?
Warren, what else? What else?
There's nothing that we can.
Okay.
Well, next time, but then that's,
Yeah.
half of the busy season of downtown, so there's nothing. This is where that part for me is always on my little impatient side.
I know.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, 'cause I-
All that was,